So yeah, here's my stuff. Here's the board. Um, so yeah, it's not a pretty board, but it does a job. I didn't want to spend $100-$200 on a board like this size. I know I can make it compact, and put things more in this area and stack them behind. I don't know how a lot of guys do that because you gotta reach over and tap your pedal, and then you risk like messing up your settings. That would drive me nuts. So I need them all straight in line and spaced far enough away from each other to not interfere, but yet still be close enough that you can do more than one if you have to quick. But anyway, I built this because I wanted something that didn't move. It's pretty solid because it's heavy, so it doesn't move, and it's inclined, so I don't really have to reach over too much. I can just it's almost like hitting it like that when you're standing up. And then I have like the power supplies in the back underneath. So yeah, why don't I just go through it? So mine's pretty basic. I don't have a lot of bells and whistles. I just have mostly the MXR preamp DI box. It's great. Everybody that I've seen that has it or tried it loves it. I really haven't seen anything bad about it. It's probably because it's like its own compression, so it really like makes the signal really a good range. So it does a great job. I think it just has an internal compression on the button that does the color, so it just really gets your signal like sounding really good. And I already have it sounding good, but it just kind of sweetens it up a little bit and makes it really polished. I guess that's the best way I describe it. The other reason, if not the primary reason why I have it and keep it, is because it has a really good overdrive. So I really like the distortion on it. It's not for everybody. It's not like an overdrive. It's more of a distortion. So it's noisy. It's dirty, but it does have a gate that you can adjust on it, the parameter. So you can adjust it. I have about a middle. Sometimes I like having it off and get feedback. It's cool, but I like it for when I'm like hitting heavy parts of a song or just want the bass to sound really nasty. I use it for that. I guess I could do an example in another video. Who knows? Maybe if I feel like plugging it, I can do it. But so I have it plugged in. That's my number one spot. Then it goes to a compressor. I tried it the other way around. I like it better this way. It doesn't affect the distortion, as much. If it compresses first, it didn't seem to make a whole. It just made a difference. It sounds better this way, and that's really all it is. For everybody, you don't have to follow the rules or everybody else's suggestions. It's just what you think. I tried it one way and I tried it the other, and I just think it sounds better this way. So I have my compression after. And then after the compressor sustainer, which by the way, yeah, it's nothing special, but I've tried a few other ones and it was like too much or too little. This seemed to be just right in the middle where it had a good amount of sustain, and it did compress the low end tighter. So that's what I liked about it. So it's it's a soul preacher. So then I got the Boss EQ. That thing is important. Everybody that plays bass should know what it is, and if you don't have it, you should get it, because it's more than just an EQ. It's a boost pedal. I use it for that reason sometimes. You just have the boost on the side here, and you can just adjust it wherever you want. It's easy. I have mine for less tone. So now I have full tone, so it can be like slap and, you know, lots of fingering and whatever. If it's just like rock and I want it to kind of dull it down, so then it's more, you can see the highs are all dialed down. So then after that, I have basically my centerpiece, which I'm proud of, is my big muff that I've had since the 90s, one of my first pedals. I can't even remember if it was used. I think it was. It still works. Like, all I had to do is take it apart and clean the switch. And I cleaned out the contact leads for it, and you know, I put some was it lube in there? I think it was. I think it was like a lube, like a spray that helped it. The pots really never did sparkle too much or static, so I cleaned those too. But it's, I mean, it's a tank. It's built from tanks, so it's a tank, and it does great, and it's everything that it's said to be. And anybody that downplays a big muff doesn't know what they're talking about, or you just don't like that sound. But it does what it's supposed to do, and it does a lot in between. So you can have it really nasty, or you can have it just really subtle and just a little bit of fuzz. Or, I mean, if it's dialed all down, you can use that as a boost, but it would be kind of a waste. But I use it as a pretty dirty distortion. So I mean, that's my full like, if like we're talking about distortion pedals is like machine guns, that's like my fully automatic machine gun. This would be like in bursts. This is just a full, like, you know, Gatling gun, just spraying a field, you know, 1,000 rounds a minute. It's awesome. So yeah, I have that, and then after that I have Soul Food, and I'm a little bit regretful buying it. I did a lot of reviews, or looked at a lot of reviews, and I tried it out, and I tried some other ones. I wanted to get another overdrive that was like, you know, not a distortion, but like an overdrive, and I wanted it to be kind of like sounding vintage. It kind of does that, but it's just, I guess without getting, I'm not a big gear guy, so getting into all the details and the specifics of like what it does is not really important to me. What's important is what it does. So its parameters and range in all of the filters it has, like treble, drive, volume, and blend. So, and then obviously you got that cut there in the middle. So it makes a big difference, and it makes not a difference. So it's like, however you have it configured can make a really big difference, but the changes you make don't really change a lot. So it's frustrating because it's not like you can get really a lot of sounds out of it. You really only get like good stuff or bad stuff, and in between is a matter of like preference or taste. So I don't know. It's either got good drive but too bright, or it's not bright enough and doesn't have enough drive. That's kind of how I feel. So it's like I can't get the drive without getting the tone. I want to dial down the tone, but I don't have the drive. So it's kind of frustrating. Or when you do find a balance, the volume or the low end isn't there. I guess that's where this could come in handy, so I can use that. But I kind of like it to do it on its own. So what I use it for is to basically, on the brighter side of this or the brighter side of that distortion, to like cut through more. It just basically, it's like an expression pedal. It'll get brighter so I can stand out more, or the notes that I'm playing stand out more. That's what I use it for. And then I can like I can set it for different things, for different sounds, for different songs, whatever. So that's what's nice about having multiple overdrives or distortions is, you know, you might have different kinds of tones. The Digitech is This thing is so underrated, and if you don't know what it is, you gotta try it out, because there's so many other like envelope filter pedals that are expensive, and I've tried them and owned them. This one's only like an $80, maybe it's $100, I can't remember, but this thing is awesome. It's got such good range. It's got so many different settings. It's got, you know, it's got the envelope filter, the sub envelope filter. It's got synth 2, filter, octave. So you can have your own octave pedal here, just with that. And it's not bad. The tracking on it is great. There are some settings with the synth that's not, where it just does a lot of the and the out just when you don't want it to. Even when you're playing really subtle and you're not being too dynamic, it still will do it. So that's annoying. So watch yourself with those, unless you just really want it to be novelty. Other than that, the useful stuff I find is the wah. So I have a great auto wah with a sub, and it sounds awesome. I mean, you can get funky and crazy, and it hot. You know, I have it set so that you can get really, really dynamic, and it'll really open up the wah, or you can be subtle and it just wahs a little bit, but it's right there when you need it, and it does it right when you want it to. It's great, and the sub makes it even better because you don't lose the low end and it's still there. It's awesome. And then I use a synth overdrive. It's like a really good overdrive. It's so full and just, it's really good. So that's 4 overdrive distortions. So then yeah, the Zoom, it's the MS60B. This thing's really, really awesome. It's so capable of so much stuff. You only can have 4 presets. I mean, you can access any of the factory settings they have. They have like 50 something. They have amp modeling. So they have all the main amps for bass. Ampeg. They even have a Hartke 3500 like I have, which is crazy. They also have Fender. So you know, you can imagine, like with the modeling you can get preamp modeling and get your bass tone to sound great with that. Then they have, you know, a dozen distortions, overdrives. I mean, even like a metal distortion. I mean, a lot of the main pedals that are on the market are in this thing, and you know, whether they're exactly the same or whatever, do justice to them is a matter of opinion. But what's great is that you can adjust all the parameters on everything. You know, if it has more than 3, it'll go to the next page. So you can do tone and volume and gain and blend, all that kind of stuff, and make it the way that you want it to be, and then you save it and it's there. And so then you got your 4 presets that you want, and you can access any of the other ones and adjust them per song, whatever. And then, you know, that's really great. You can download onto it. I haven't done that. There's enough on there. I got it for like the phasers and the flangers, the modulation, that kind of stuff that you can get. There's a digital delay, echo, reverb, all kinds of stuff like that. I have a really good reverb. It's tiled room. It's really good. It makes it sound really, just a really good reverb for a bass. And I just like it for having that option if I have like an intro or something or whatever. So it's a great pedal to have. It gives me lots of tools in my bag if I want them to inspire me or to like fit a song, and it's like, oh hey, I probably have that. So I keep it simple. I keep it to the point. I'm mostly playing clean. I might have a little overdrive. I mean, I have, you know, overdrive on the amp a little bit. If I really want to be clean, I can just hit my EQ and that makes it pretty clean. Whatever it takes. You know, I mean, the basses sound different. I mean, that jazz sounds way different than that precision. So it's just a matter of like how I want it to sound. But yeah, it's great. I'm very happy that I have it. The quest never ends, but I feel like I've reached a plateau for now. This pedal board is pretty basic. I'm not much, I mean, I'm an okay guitar player, but I'm nothing special. I just got the Super Chorus, which is cool for stuff. I picked up the Behringer Super Fuzz for like 20 bucks. It was basically new. It's pretty good. Actually, for 20 bucks, it's really, really good. And that's probably what everybody says. And it's true. It really is a pretty good fuzz. But you can't do everything you want with it. You got to know. And then I got the metal muff, which I'm pretty happy with. If anybody has any thoughts on the metal muff, it's pretty awesome. Because you can do so many different sounds with it, with the, you know, the modeling you have here. You know, it's nice to have the bass and the mid and the treble. And, you know, that gate is nice to keep it from being noisy all the time. And it does a good job. And then, you know, you gotta have an EQ. I mean, if you're a bass player, and then there's the looper. I can take that off of here and plug that into here. But yeah, so that's what it is. I may come up with some more pedals in the future, but for now, that's really all I need. It's really not about. It's not really about what you've got. It's about how you play. You know, I mean, you got to play well. So that's what I focus on the most. But I got a lot of little tricks in my bag if I need to make it sound super cool for whatever I'm doing. So. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of some of this stuff. If you got any videos of your own, put the links in the comments. I'll check them out. It's fun watching them and listening to people, so I thought I'd do my own. Thanks again.